Water is life. Every living thing, from the tiniest microbe to the largest whale, needs fresh water to survive. We use it to drink, to grow our crops, and to power our industries. But fresh water is a precious resource. Only a tiny fraction of the Earth's water is fresh water, and even less is easily accessible for human use. Rivers, lakes, and groundwater aquifers are all sources of fresh water, but these are under increasing pressure from pollution, overuse, and climate change. As the world's population grows and the demand for fresh water increases, we are facing a global water crisis. Millions of people lack access to safe and reliable sources of drinking water, and this number is only expected to rise in the coming decades. Finding new and sustainable ways to provide fresh water is one of the most pressing challenges of our time. While the ocean may seem like an obvious solution, as it covers over 70% of the Earth's surface, it is unfortunately not that simple. The ocean is vast and awe-inspiring, but its water is undrinkable for humans. Unlike freshwater, which contains very low concentrations of dissolved salts, ocean water is highly saline. The high salt content of ocean water has several negative consequences for human consumption. Firstly, it is simply unpleasant to drink. The salty taste is unpalatable, and drinking large amounts can lead to dehydration as the body tries to flush out the excess salt. Secondly, consuming large amounts of salt can have serious health consequences. It can lead to high blood pressure, kidney problems, and other health issues. Finally, using ocean water directly for irrigation in agriculture is also problematic. The salt can build up in the soil, making it difficult for plants to grow and eventually rendering the land infertile. Therefore, while the ocean may seem like a tempting source of water, its high salinity makes it unsuitable for drinking or most agricultural uses without significant treatment. Desalination is the process of removing salt from seawater to produce fresh water suitable for human consumption or irrigation. This process has emerged as a potential solution to water scarcity, particularly in coastal regions and arid countries with limited freshwater resources. There are two main methods of desalination: thermal desalination and membrane desalination. Thermal desalination involves heating seawater to its boiling point. The steam produced, which is essentially pure water, is collected and condensed back into fresh water. The remaining brine, which contains a high concentration of salt, is returned to the ocean. Membrane desalination, specifically reverse osmosis, is the most commonly used desalination method. This process involves forcing seawater through a semi-permeable membrane under high pressure. The membrane acts as a filter, allowing water molecules to pass through while blocking salt and other impurities. Section 4, the environmental price of fresh water. While desalination offers a potential solution to water scarcity, it is important to acknowledge that it is not without its environmental impacts. The process requires a significant amount of energy, which often comes from fossil fuels, contributing to greenhouse gas emissions and climate change. The intake of seawater for desalination can also have negative impacts on marine life. Fish and other organisms can be drawn into the intake pipes, leading to mortality. The discharge of concentrated brine back into the ocean can also alter the salinity and temperature of coastal waters, potentially harming marine ecosystems. The environmental impacts of desalination highlight the importance of considering it as part of a broader, integrated water management strategy. Reducing water demand through conservation and efficiency measures, as well as exploring alternative water sources such as rainwater harvesting and treated wastewater reuse, should be prioritized alongside desalination. Section 5. The cost of creating drinkable water. Desalination is a technologically advanced process, and the costs associated with it can be substantial. Building and operating desalination plants requires significant financial investment. The cost of desalination is influenced by several factors, including the size and capacity of the plant, the chosen desalination technology, the energy source used, and local environmental regulations. One of the main expenses associated with desalination is energy consumption. Desalination plants require a considerable amount of energy to operate the pumps, heat the water, or maintain the pressure needed for membrane filtration. The energy source used, whether it's electricity from the grid, fossil fuels, or renewable energy, significantly impacts both the operating costs and the carbon footprint of the plant. Another significant cost factor is the disposal of brine. The high salt concentration in the brine discharge can be harmful to marine life, so it needs to be managed carefully. This can involve diluting the brine before discharging it into the ocean, transporting it to specialized disposal facilities, or using it for other purposes, such as salt production. All of these options add to the overall cost of desalination. Section 6. Innovation making desalination more sustainable. Despite the challenges, there is ongoing research and development in desalination technologies aimed at improving efficiency, reducing costs, and minimizing environmental impacts. These innovations are crucial for making desalination a more sustainable option for freshwater production. One area of innovation is in energy efficiency. Researchers are exploring ways to reduce the energy consumption of desalination plants, for example, by using energy recovery systems that capture waste heat from the process and use it to preheat incoming seawater. This reduces the overall energy demand and lowers operating costs. Another promising area is the development of more energy-efficient desalination membranes. These membranes are designed to allow water to pass through more easily, reducing the pressure required and therefore the energy consumption of the process. Additionally, researchers are exploring the use of renewable energy sources such as solar and wind power to power desalination plants, reducing their reliance on fossil fuels and lowering their carbon footprint. Section 7. The future of freshwater, a drop of hope. As the world grapples with increasing water scarcity, desalination is likely to play an increasingly important role in meeting the growing demand for fresh water, especially in coastal regions and arid countries. However, it is crucial to approach desalination with a focus on sustainability and environmental responsibility. Continued technological advancements, particularly in energy efficiency and renewable energy integration, hold the key to making desalination a more viable and environmentally sound solution. Investing in research and development of more sustainable desalination technologies is paramount. Ultimately, the future of freshwater lies in a multifaceted approach that combines desalination with other solutions such as water conservation, rainwater harvesting, and treated wastewater reuse. By diversifying our water sources and implementing sustainable water management practices, we can strive to create a future where everyone has access to this most precious resource. Every drop counts and the time to act is now.